Documents show recent tests found unsafe levels of mold that could put the health of city workers at risk. Tonight's meeting starts at 6 o'clock. Remember, you can get breaking news around the clock on clickorlando.com and the News 6 app.
WDYC, Altamont Springs. WYGC, High Springs. A JVC broadcasting station, 660 AM, 105.5 FM, Florida Man Radio. The views and opinions on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting, management, or its sponsors. You have Power Radio with attorney Justin Clark on Florida Man Radio.
Do you swear to tell the truth? The whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You want answers? You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Last night...
Hey, and welcome to the program for a Wednesday night. I will be your host, Justin Clark, protecting you, the consumer, from the evils of corporate America. You and I, together, we will bully the bullies tonight on the program, how not to get taken advantage of when you go buy that next house as you sit at the closing table. Quick housekeeping before we get started. I will be taking your calls and text messages. 321-339-1055. You can also download the Florida Man Radio app and listen to us worldwide. You can watch the program by following You Have Power Radio on Facebook and YouTube. 2 TV shows for you as well this weekend and every single weekend Saturday. Now in prime time at 7:30 p.m. over on CBS, our news partner. It is You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. And then Sunday morning, 10 a.m. on TV 27, it is Behind the Law. Excellent show for you tonight. Much to get to, but first, the team to my right. It is Orlando's radio legend, Mick Dolan. Mick, how are you, sir?
I'm reporting for duty.
To his right, making sure the digital version of the program is functioning, it is the Kenny. Hello, the Kenny. What up?
Hello, man. Right as you introduced me, Facebook is asking for your password, so if you want to jot that down for me.
Seriously?
The lovely Briana has yet to give me the login.
So the show's not running now digitally?
No, the show is running.
So why does it want my password?
So
Here, I'm going to write it
your
down.
Captions. It's social media stuff.
And I only know this password because I had to ask Briana for it today. I don't know any of my passwords. She does. I have to text her. It's like having another wife or something.
Oh, I know.
And thank you, Briana, for covering for me today.
And speaking of covering for you today, so Wednesday, as you probably know, is the day that I shave. And I shave on Wednesdays because I have to do I shoot a TV show over at our news partner, News 6, WKMG, and the Kenny comes to the program to do the digital version of the television program. This morning, we shoot about 9:45, maybe 10 o'clock. I get a message from the Kenny. Hey, man. No. Yo, Justin. I'm sorry, man. I completely forgot about coming into the news station today. So at 9:45, the excuse is, this is a quote from the text message he sent me today.
Okay.
I completely forgot about coming into the news station today. Then I turned on the Shannon Burke show today about 3 o'clock, half hour after he was supposed to come remind him to do his own segment, right, on the Shannon Burke show.
Yeah.
And now by 2:30, by 3 o'clock, it changes to, I missed Justin Clark's TV show today because I was having car trouble. So I just think we should let the record reflect right now. What is the true reason that you did not come to the TV program today? Kenny, is it the car trouble, or is it that when you said contemporaneously to me that you just forgot about coming into the news station today? Which one?
Before he answers, Justin's a lawyer. So
That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay. I was thinking, why did I sign up for this? To work with a damn attorney at that. You got timelines written down.
I'm just saying.
I plead the fifth.
Which one was it? Oh, you plead the fifth? Okay, see, I have to give you that. It's your constitutional right. Although I'm not charging you with any crime, so I don't know if you can technically plead the fifth.
Okay. All right, so this morning I was driving to an undisclosed location to pick up some medication. And I'm driving down East Colonial. Now, this is a 7 in the morning. This is a 7 in the morning.
Okay. Well, your car was working fine at that point.
No. I'm driving down East Colonial. I'm hitting the gas, and she's only doing like 30. And I'm pushing the pedal, and nothing's happening. I'm like, what the hell? This is weird. And she's like jerking back and forth. So I'm like, no, this is weird. So I pulled over. I called Geico. I was on the phone with them for about a half hour or so. They told me I don't pay. They told me I don't pay for roadside assistance, so we can't help you. So I'm sitting there. I'm Googling stuff. I'm trying to figure this out. But she did turn on, and I could drive it a little. So I drove her to a racetrack, put some gas in her, and I just kind of like let her flow back home. By that point, it was like 9 something, and that's when Briana texted me. It was like, "Hey, you coming in today?" And I'm like, "Oh."
Well, see,
So then at that point, when I'm texting Justin, I'm like, he's gonna think I'm lying if I tell him I have car trouble.
Yes.
So, I just said, you know what? It slipped my mind. It just slipped my mind, which was also probably a poorer excuse. But,
Yeah. So I just want to be very clear about this. You've had now 10 hours to come up with your BS excuse for this morning, and quite honestly, I don't even know what you just said. I really don't. I have no earthly idea. And pushing the buttons, making sure we're on the radio today, my good friend EC. EC, greetings.
I'm here. On time.
And to my left, my partner, the owner of Core Title. We're going to talk all things title tonight. It's Hammett Penchal. Hammett, how are you, buddy?
I'm great.
Good to see you. We are taking your calls, taking your text messages, 321-339-1055.
And now it's time for the opening statement. This should be interesting.
I think you, Florida man, you're nuts. I'm sorry, but you are insane for going into these oceans on our East Coast. You swim. You ride your little boards. You ride your surfboard. You fall off your surfboard. I think you're nuts. I think you're absolutely insane. I will dip my toes in the ocean. No problem. Yeah. I'll even go knee high, maybe even a little further out. Yeah. That's about it for me. I'm not going any further than that. And I think that you people who swim way, way out there, I mean, look, if the rip current's not going to get you, the jellyfish is going to get you.
Oh, the sharks.
But that's the scariest part. It is the sharks. And did you know that 1/3 of the unprovoked shark attacks in the world, 1/3 of them, happened in Florida in 2019. Now, look, there's a lot of ocean out there. A lot of ocean, a lot of coastline. To the point where we have 1/3 of the shark attacks
in the world.
Right here in our backyard in the world. There were 64 unprovoked attacks in 2019. 41 of those attacks happened in the United States. 21 of them right here in Florida. And don't worry, you don't have to drive all the way down to Miami or the Keys to get your little toes bitten by sharks, because 9 of them happened right here in Volusia County, just to our east, and 2 of them in Brevard County. Now, look, am I a wuss?
Yes.
Am I really being a wuss for saying I don't want to go swim in this dark ocean with jellyfish and rip currents and shark bites? Yeah. I'm the one that has the issues? How is this possible?
Think about the millions of people that go in Florida waters every year, and only 21 were bitten by sharks.
Yeah, how many rip currents? How many jelly? Do you like to pee on yourself?
No.
Only when I'm drunk.
Well, at least he admitted it.
Jesus, this guy.
I know.
He's the only guy who could come in late, not show up at shows and things like that. But yeah, he's like the Teflon man.
He is.
Because he has little jokes like that. You know what I mean? And it's hard to stay mad at him.
You can't hate him.
All right, Hammett, let me ask you. Do you swim in the ocean?
I'm just like you. I only go in maybe up to the knees.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the problem too. I've now made my daughter scared of the ocean as well.
Oh, yeah, see, that isn't fair.
She doesn't want to go, which I'm fine with that. I don't necessarily want my little 7-year-old swimming out there in the ocean currents. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. EC, you swim in the ocean? I mean, what? Tell me.
Of course I do.
How far out do you go?
Up to my neck sometimes. It just depends on how I feel.
Mick?
Oh, yeah. No, all the way out. As far as I can go.
Born and raised Florida man. So I've lived in Brevard County for a good part of my life.
I've had a couple of incidents of rip currents.
Yeah. And so and then they say, you just keep swimming further out if you get stuck in a rip current, right? Or it's going to take you out.
Swim parallel to the shore.
Which is totally counterintuitive.
I ended up a long way
what you would
away.
normally want to do. Kenny, you swim in the ocean, no problem.
Yeah, especially if it's really hot out. Like, why not? You cool off when you go into the water.
Sure.
I'm telling you, man, these shark things scare me. What about the lakes here? People who grew up in Orlando, which I did not. I've been here over a decade now, though. We have alligators in the lakes. I mean, first of all, they're more like ponds, let's be honest with one another. And they're dark, and they have alligators hanging out in the bottom or on the sides. And they're like, well, let's go jet skiing today, Justin. I'm like, are you nuts? Are you out of your mind? Well, if you don't want to jet ski, maybe we'll go inner tubing together. I'm like, inner tubing? In one of these ponds? With alligators and amoeba and snakes? Are you crazy?
We have chains of lakes that are safe.
Would you go swim in these lakes, EC?
Of course.
Of course.
I have.
No,
Yes,
you
He's
won't.
a real Florida man.
Yeah.
Don't of course me.
Yeah.
Kenny,
What's up?
you'll swim in the lakes here?
Now
Ponds?
now I'm with you on that. We got to draw some lines.
Okay.
I don't do the lakes with the gators. I can't do that.
And Mick, will you?
Oh, yeah.
What about Hammett? No.
No.
Thank you. At least I have
about
one,
amoeba.
At least we have one
Yeah,
reasonable
amoebas
person.
now, that's scary there.
Yeah, they're like, don't worry. Not many people get the brain-eating amoeba. Really, not many.
Hold on. I don't open my eyes underwater. I don't.
Yeah, but you can't necessarily keep them completely locked shut, locked up.
Yeah, you're right.
I
Hey,
know.
when my time is up, my time is up.
I just thought that was fascinating that 1/3 of the shark attacks in the world happen here in the state we live in.
Yeah.
And yet you guys think I'm nuts for not swimming in the damn ocean. I think you're nuts.
No.
Most of them are from New Smyrna Beach, and I've been there hundreds of times.
I love this New Smyrna Beach person argument as well. That, well, the sharks here, they're pretty small. Like, it's a shark.
No, I went to New Smyrna. How you say it? New Smyrna?
New Smyrna, yeah.
Yeah, I went there with my mom and her boyfriend and whatever, like maybe a year ago or so. Yeah, and all the Puerto Ricans, they were on jet skis out there. And I'm like, nah, y'all crazy. even me being Puerto Rican, I was like, nah, I'm going up to my ankles. F that.
Yeah, just go. I mean, if you're too worried, go of the brain amoebas, go to the springs.
There's no brain. There's no amoebas there.
Now, you will. I've many times been in the springs early in the morning and seen the alligators just come swimming by me and
Just hanging out.
yeah, they're only like
They're only
2
like 4 feet.
Yeah, 2 feet, 3
big
feet,
deal.
4
I
feet.
might
ones.
draw blood, but that's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, most of them take off anyway the moment they see you.
321-339-1055. I wanted to get you updated really quickly on the texting and driving laws as well, because there's a lot of misinformation out there in regards to, okay, can they pull you over just because you're holding your phone or just because you're texting, or does it have to be part of something else? You have to be speeding, you have to be swerving, something like that. Because if you remember when the law first passed, there had to be something else involved. This was not a primary offense, so to
they
speak.
could tack it on.
Well, right now, it absolutely is a primary offense. But it's two different things. There are two different laws on this. I want to make sure you're very clear about this. Number one is the texting and driving law. That's number one, right? So texting and driving, I think that at this point, you cannot text or Facebook or type anything while you're driving. You can't do that. But you can actually be holding your phone and talk on your phone. But you cannot be holding your phone and talk on your phone while you're in a construction or school zone.
Right.
So it's two separate things. So you can actually talk, like in New York, Kenny. Yeah. Kenny didn't drive in New York, but you probably know this. In New York, you cannot hold your phone and talk.
Oh,
you
no,
can't.
and
It has to be hands-free.
And those kind of fines in New York are like doubled. It's like, probably more now, but it was at a point like 300 or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What about hands-free?
Hands-free you can do, and you can do hands-free in the school zone as well.
Oh.
But I had the stats on that. I don't know
But
where
New
I
York
put
gets
this
ridiculous too.
damn
They even have
story.
a fine for honking your horn. Like if you honk your horn in a certain neighborhood, or if you blast music too loud in a certain neighborhood, that they probably have down.
Well, they're
there.
trying to keep the riffraff out there.
Yeah, in New York they go like heavy with those little things. But down here though, people do anything. I've seen people make U-turns at a red light. I've
get
seen
you
people
for
down
honking
here.
your horn if they want to,
Yeah.
because it's an illegal use of safety equipment.
You know what they should give people tickets for is using their high beams at night.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that sounds stupid.
No,
like,
it doesn't
but,
sound stupid because it'll blind you. Some of them.
Yeah, like if you're in a super secluded area out in the boondocks somewhere, and there's like a few miles to the next stoplight or whatever, I get that. But yeah, like you're going down freaking University with high beams on, like.
Well,
on,
and
man.
people. Well, I think a lot of people their low beams are bad, so they have to use the high beams.
That's
And
true.
that ain't supposed to be my problem.
Here's
but
the
it is.
problem with the high beam thing too, and I had this damn story, but here they've only now given 176 tickets for texting and driving in the whole state of Florida.
Really?
So they're not really pushing it that hard still. They're still giving a lot of warnings, But just be very clear. You don't have to be speeding for them to pull you over. All they have to do is see you actually typing into your phone, and they can pull you over. Or if you're in a school zone or work zone, and God knows there's plenty of work zones right now, if they see you holding your phone, you can be pulled over. Here's another thing, though. If they see you entering an address into a GPS, that's not illegal. You are allowed to do any navigation device. So when they can't ask you to search your phone to show that, oh, you were actually Facebooking. So I'm not telling you.
Oh no, I learned that trick very early on.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
How did you learn it?
You text and drive, you savage?
Yes, there's times where it is needed, or I don't know.
There are times when you have to.
Yeah, and I've learned early on that I just leave my GPS on, and then you can just quickly switch screens back to your GPS and.
Yeah, exactly. Hammett, let me ask you a question. You're very busy. You know, you got deadlines because you're doing real estate closings for people. So you've got realtors all the time calling you and texting you, and buyers and sellers. When you're driving down the street, what is your position on talking on the phone, texting, and driving? What do you do?
I try not to talk at all while
Yeah?
I'm driving. I do plug it into the hands-free, but even then when I get a call, I'll just let it wait until I get home or wherever I'm going.
And see, I will text, but I'm always use the hands-free thing. Yeah. But let me tell you something. I would be better off. It would be safer for me to actually type this crap because it doesn't have any idea what I said. I'm like, don't you think you would learn your daddy's voice by now, phone? But it screws up every time.
You got to roll the windows up, turn the air on.
That's true.
Turn the music off.
Good point.
The side, all the stuff going on the outside, no.
Yeah, I do all of that, and then I do the Hey Siri, and then she gets it perfect when I do the voice text.
My Pilar's sister, she's like a big prankster. Apparently you can go into someone's phone and like enter your name so it knows your name, and she entered into my phone that my name is Jesus Jugs. so when Siri, or is it Siri? Yeah, when Siri talks to me, Siri says, "Hello, Jesus."
Jesus.
So I'm Jesus Jugs. I don't even know what that means, but apparently the phone thinks I'm Jesus Jugs, but the phone cannot figure out my voice. I mean, I will be dictating, whatever you want to call it. What do you call it? Talking into it?
Yeah,
dictating into the phone. Yeah. And you got to hit backspace, and then it screws up like a one word, 2 sentences before. Right. You got to backspace the whole time. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is, but I will tell you, we do a little personal injury work at my office, and case after case after case, texting and driving, it does cause accidents. There's just absolutely no doubt about it.
Yeah, I see rear-end collisions all the time, and you see them. It's like usually 2 20-year-olds, and they're looking at the phone, and they got that guilty look on their face, and it's like, yeah, you're on Facebook, and bam, and here we are. And you see them texting, like, besides the people with tints, but like regular windows, it's annoying how much you see the texting and driving. Or you have the person that likes to tailgate. Stop at the light, text, and then when the light switches, back to tailgating. And it's like, how more entitled can you be as a driver?
Yeah. You just made me miss the light, by the way, because you were sitting there finishing your text message when the damn light turned green.
Right. I'll admit I'm terrible about it, but I've learned to be pretty good about I can one-hand it down below the dash. And I figure this out. Oh, I can just text whatever.
You devious guy.
Here's another thing, though. Here's what these newer cars have: the automatic high beams. You know what I'm talking about? Where it thinks that it knows if another car is coming. This automatic high beam thing sucks. It's terrible. And I get people flashing their lights at me all the time. I know they're not flashing their lights. It's like a new car that thinks it knows when to turn the high beams on and not. I think it's a huge problem. You know, and back in New York, what would if you flash your lights at someone, that means you had to go shoot them or something, right?
Yeah, no. Back in the 90s, there was a story that broke out. There was this local gang, and they were using that as an initiation into the gang.
Old urban legend.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
so too.
That's an old urban legend. You flash, and then if you flash
how many times
back,
have we saw people online imitating stuff? You know what I mean? So maybe, I don't know, maybe it was BS, the story that went around, but people were fearful of signaling people with their lights. Yep. And maybe it is an urban legend.
It's an urban legend, but it helps. That's one of those urban legends that might be a good one, where like don't flash your lights at someone because they have high beams. So.
321-339-1055. We're going to get to real estate closings here in a minute, I promise. But
that is the show.
It is. But I have to address this Attorney General versus Osceola Sheriff versus State Attorney Aramis Ayala's office. Okay, so I've talked to you about this before on this program, where this poor mother, Nicole Montalvo, gets killed. The cops obviously believe that she was killed by her estranged husband. What's that asshole?
No.
What's that guy's name? Christopher Otero Rivera.
Yeah.
The estranged husband, and the dad, Angel Rivera. And the reason why we know this happened is because, according to the affidavits of the police officers, the brother of Christopher Otero Rivera said he walked into the garage as they were basically chopping her up. And then they found her...
Eyewitness.
Then they found her body in several pieces on 2 different pieces of property owned by these people, right?
Yeah.
But yet they haven't charged either of them with murder yet.
Seems pretty cut and dry.
And now there's this huge fight between State Attorney Aramis Ayala. She's a state attorney for Orange and Osceola counties.
Right.
You might remember her. She's the one that refused to do the death penalty.
Yeah.
And then the sheriff's office, they're having a big fight. So now the state attorney general, Ashley Moody, has just sent a letter to the governor saying, look, you got to do something here. You got to find another state attorney to prosecute this case.
So, right now, there's a huge craze for true crime documentaries.
Yeah,
on
this is going to be one of them.
Podcasts. Yeah, this probably will be, actually. But, what comes to mind is Making a Murderer, where you had the uncle and the nephew kind of co-conspirating this thing, and they were trying the same thing. It was like they found the body burnt in the backyard on the property, blah, blah, blah. So, it's tricky because... what happens is these trials, we spend tax dollars on these long, extenuous trials, appeals. Yeah. So I think maybe the state of Florida, whoever, this is in Florida, right?
Yep,
yeah.
it's right in our backyard.
Maybe they're really making sure they have proof, even though obviously we know they did it. But on paper, is it possible that they want to make sure so we don't get a 3-4 year long trial, waste the money, they get acquitted, a whole big thing, the media.
I totally disagree. I think in this situation, the sheriff and the state attorney do not like each other. They're at each other's throat. And if they continue this, the fear is we're going to see a Dateline NBC where it was going to be, Dateline's a great show, 2020, whatever you watch. It's going to be one of those shows, but the ending is going to be that both of these murderers were completely got off because the sheriff and the state attorney could not get on the same page. That's what we're looking at.
And there's a time limit.
There is a time limit as well.
And that's been the issue. Ayala's been very combative a lot since gotten into office. Am I correct on that? I mean, that was the issue with what was his name? The guy that killed the cop, and then his
Markeith Lloyd.
Markeith Lloyd, thank you.
Great guy.
Yeah, and she didn't want to prosecute him as a death penalty one. And is there a reason she's so combative on that?
It's her feeling. She does not believe in it. So
because she's already
what's the family of the murdered girl doing? Are they doing anything?
Oh, they're protesting. They're out there.
Of course.
Yeah.
So yesterday,
talking to the media.
Yesterday, Florida's Attorney General Ashley Moody sent a letter to the governor saying that she believes the ends of justice would be met if he addressed this issue and the case were reassigned to another circuit.
Could there be the witness that saw
the brother and the son? Oh, yeah.
Is his credibility being called into question?
No, not that I've seen. He said he walked into the garage. She's there laying in a pool of blood as they're about to chop her up.
He's really the only eyewitness, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and he's already gotten his bail reduced once already before the dad. So I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff that I don't know if it's
something going on there.
There's stuff that's behind the scenes that's not getting out there, but it's a little weird.
Yeah. Justice has got to be served, though. This is crazy.
State Attorney Ayala said, on several occasions, the sheriff has offered facts that are simply not true. He has made conclusions that are in direct conflict with the evidence or significant lack thereof.
And did she say what they were?
No.
And Making a Murderer, that was a big thing, too, was that they claimed that the police department of, I forget, Indiana, wherever they were, that...
It was Wisconsin, I believe.
Yeah. So the local police department, they tampered with evidence, man. And this has been going on, OJ, everything, the whole tampering with evidence thing. Man, this sounds like this has the makings for a documentary, man, or something. This is crazy.
This is going to be a documentary. Prosecutors will have only 175 days from the time of arrest before defendants can demand a speedy trial. I don't know exactly, but it's been a solid couple months at least.
Yeah,
I think
so.
All right, let's reset this. First of all, EC, I promise not to curse again in the second half hour of the program.
That's good.
But
did you beep that?
Yeah. But in my defense, we've done how many shows together at this point on this station? It's probably like 80 or so.
Yeah,
and that was the first time you've ever had to hit the button on me, I believe, right?
I mean, even that one's a little...
Yeah, exactly. I didn't drop an F-bomb.
Yeah.
No.
Right? So, I mean, we could have gotten away with that.
No.
Okay.
There is an individual in this room that has done that, however.
If you'd like to interact with us, 321-339-1055, 1055. You can call me. You can text me right there. Coming up just after this very short break, we're going to talk about real estate. And I'm going to talk about, look, if you're looking to buy a house, sitting at that closing table can be one of the most scary parts of your financial life. You've got 8 people, 10 people sitting at the table with you. You got the seller, the realtor, the title guy, everyone's just staring at you, watching your hand. Just say, please sign that stuff. Please sign that stack of documents. Because if you're the buyer, everyone in that room gets paid whenever you sign this huge stack of documents. It can be intimidating. I'm going to tell you exactly what to watch out for at that closing table, all right after this short break. It's Justin Clark on the Florida Man Radio Network.
You're listening to You Have Power Radio with attorney Justin Clark.
Wednesday's opening statement is brought to you by Sapphire Timeshare Cancellation. Sapphire is one of the leading timeshare exit companies in the nation. Their experienced agents will work with you to build a strategic plan to maximize your result for a swift cancellation. With award-winning customer service and 100% money-back guarantee, how could you go wrong? So check them out today at SapphireTimeshareCancellation.com or give them a call at 407-362-7859. Again, that's 407-362-7859. Sapphire Timeshare Cancellation, because you deserve true financial freedom.
The Shannon Burke Show.
What on earth are you talking about?
Huh? I'm following along fine.
We're talking about pizza rat, and then you went into knee braces, sleeping on a horse, and eating sausages.
Well, they out there in radio land, I'm killing it.
The Shannon Burke Show, weekday afternoons from 2 till 6. Unfiltered, unafraid. Florida Man Radio.
Are you a business owner? First of all, thanks for listening. Hey, so if you want to find new customers, we can help on Orlando's newest radio station, WDYZ, Florida Man Radio, 105.5 and 660. Your ad could be featured right here in the morning with Bubba the Love Sponge, middays in Dangerous Conversation with Ledge, noon till 2 in the Ed Till Show, or in prime PM drive during the Shannon Burke Show. We can create a custom campaign based on your goals and budget. Drive store traffic, engage new clients, develop more leads, boost website activation, and get your cash register to ring with new business. Radio gets results, and JVC Broadcasting is at the ready to help you take your business to the next level. For more information on increasing your success, visit our website at floridamanradio.com and click on the Advertise tab. Drive store traffic, engage new clients, develop more leads, boost website activation, and get your cash register to ring with new business. Let us help you grow your business.
Reach out today. Unfiltered, unafraid. FloridaManRadio.com. Click on the Advertise tab. Do it now.
You know, after diet and exercise, saving more money, making more money, and paying off debts are 3 of the biggest New Year's resolutions. Go to OxygenFinancial.com right now to get a copy of our Amazon best-selling book, The 21-Day Budget Cleanse. In just 3 weeks, we can help you get a leaner budget, a fatter wallet, and a bigger net worth right here in 2020. Learn our tips on how to stretch your paycheck further in 2020, so go to OxygenFinancial.com right now and set up a free consultation today. Go to OxygenFinancial.com right now.
Experience spectacular New Year savings at Drivers Mart in Winter Park and Sanford. Come and browse our selection of over 700 vehicles, including SUVs, trucks, and sedans in stock from all manufacturers. Every vehicle is clearly marked with our lowest best price up front. No haggling needed. We also provide easy financing, no matter your history. Plus, we provide commission-free sales associates for an easy shopping experience. We make car buying simple. And to make sure you're 100% satisfied with your purchase, every vehicle we sell comes with a 5-day, 300-mile money-back guarantee. If you're unhappy for any reason, just bring it back. No questions. We want to see you in a vehicle you'll love. So come on over to Drivers Mart in Winter Park, located on 436 just north of Aloma, or stop by our Sanford location next to Audi North Orlando. Visit us online at driversmartusa.com today. Drivers Mart. Pre-owned, plain and simple.
Why do so many jewelry buyers choose International Diamond Center?
The transparency is there, the trust is there, and of course the quality.
That's Ross Sanchez, who's been an IDC customer for over a decade, always coming back when there's a special occasion in his life.
Obviously the selection is best in class, the value is fantastic, the ownership is dedicated to earn your business as well as keep your business for future years.
For Ross and so many others, it's not just about the amazing prices, it's about the experience, with no pressure, no games, no commission salespeople.
That's why I bring my friends, colleagues, and business professionals into International Diamond Center.
And it's about a company that cares as much about the community as it does the bottom line.
They just continue to prove their excellence by giving back to the community, whether it's an academy, a dream fund, a hospital organization. International Diamond Center has a big heart.
International Diamond Center, proud to be a part of this community and honored to be your jeweler. Get store hours, directions, and more at shopidc.com.
Florida man is on the loose and everywhere.
Anywhere I want. Anywhere I need.
There's so many ways to get your fix of Florida Man Radio. Don't miss a minute of Bubba the Love Sponge.
You think we would all be building our arms up if the only way to defend yourself was to have, a real nice pea shooter of an arm?
That's why they started making catapults and slingshots.
Yeah, so that dorks like me and Seth could have a chance.
Dangerous conversation. Ed Till, The Shannon Burke Show.
I ain't letting no Chinaman mash on me. I bring in my assistant to walk on back like that. Okay, first put the bean in ear. And tomorrow you'll have big erections.
And you have Power Radio with Justin Clark. Listen live now on 660 AM, 105.5 FM, online at floridamanradio.com. Or take us with you anywhere, anytime with the Florida Man Radio app. Just search Florida Man Radio in your Google Play or App Store. Unfiltered, unafraid, Florida Man Radio.
Sitting at this table, right? You've got your realtor, you've got the seller's realtor, you got a mortgage guy, and then you got a title guy right there. Everyone's staring at you. They're just sitting there. Literally, you have a pen in your hand and a huge stack of papers in front of you. And you're like, why are you guys all staring at my hand?
Because that's how they get paid.
Because unless you sign your life away here, you sign all these documents as the buyer, no one's getting paid. And look, especially if you're like a first or second time home buyer, you're not going to know what a lot of this stuff means. I mean, it's scary stuff. And, now all of a sudden you're on the hook for $300,000. And look, I'm the biggest advocate in the world of buying right now because I still think the prices are good and the interest rates are incredible. We're at like 3.6, 3.7% right now interest rates. It's essentially free money. It's never been this good, really. I love buying now, but I want you to be careful, and I want you to be safe when you're sitting there at the closing table to make sure that people are not taking advantage of you, because let's be honest, we live in Florida, which is kind of like the scumbag capital of the world when it comes to financial crimes. It is.
No way.
People come here to rip people off, Ponzi schemes and real estate schemes, all this sort of thing.
They all moved from New York.
No. That guy that was giving steroids to A-Rod, he's from Miami, bro.
I'm sure his family was from New York.
Touche.
321-339-1055. The owner of Core Title is here. Hammett Panshaw. Hammett, how are you, sir?
I'm awesome.
So you're the one that sits there, and you're kind of like the neutral guy in the middle who you don't really represent the buyer or the seller. You make sure everyone signs the right paperwork. And then I always hear about this title insurance. What is this title insurance? What does that cover?
That just basically covers everybody's interest. It basically guarantees a transaction, makes sure that whoever's buying the property isn't inheriting a whole bunch of liens and judgments and all these other things that they don't want.
Who normally pays for this title insurance? Who normally pays for these closing costs?
Typically the seller does, but ultimately it's whoever pays for title insurance pays for it,
Oh, yeah?
But typically the seller.
And does that vary like by state or by city or anything like that? Or is it nationwide the seller pays for title?
I would say it's a Florida thing. It's customary in Florida that the seller pays for it. But, there are some savvy investors that decide they want to pick the title insurance company and
And you can do that?
They'll be willing to pay for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you got to pay, what, extra? Or
No.
Just saying.
Just whoever pays for it usually picks it.
Oh.
When you go and you sit down at the closing table, especially if it's a first-time home buyer or maybe someone who isn't really used to selling their home, I mean, what are some of the questions that you generally hear when you're at the closing table?
You know, a lot of the questions are very just routine, you know, like what's this charge for, or who's paying for this, why is this on this side? So, you know, I think the biggest questions usually end up coming up on the closing statement where they just want clarification on what is this and what's it for.
I mean, Mick, you bought a house.
Yes.
I mean, when you see that, what used to be called HUD, now settlement statement, right? I mean, it can be a little confusing.
It's
because
intimidating.
there are two columns, you know, and it has all these weird numbers on it. One side's the seller side, one side's the buyer side. And if you haven't done this before, it can really be quite confusing.
Well, my real estate agent helped out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and you hope that you have a good agent. I mean,
Yeah.
agents can be
She's a friend.
they can be very helpful in trying to explain all this, even well before closing. And they're kind of the key to this whole thing, explaining it to their client, right?
Some of them are, and some of them get in the
That's
way,
right.
too.
That's true. That's true.
So-
Gotta hit a good one.
Yeah, I think one of the more confusing things that people will see on this so-called settlement statement, you might have heard it called HUD in the past, is proration on taxes. You know, the buyer can't understand how they're getting hit, how they're paying for taxes for the year, or the seller can't understand sometimes why they're getting hit for that. How does the proration on the property tax work?
Yeah, you know, the tax collector only collects payments during a certain time period. So the rest, when they're not collecting it, you know, we've got to account for it somehow. So that's where the proration comes in. You know, let's just say if we're closing June 1st, we want to make sure from January up until June 1st, the seller's paying that part.
Right.
And then, you know, we're basically going to be taking that away from the seller at closing. And then we're going to just give that money to the buyer as a credit. So come tax time, you know, they'll pay the whole year's worth at that time.
Oh, okay.
How much are real estate commissions typically, and who normally pays those?
Typically, it's the seller that pays for it, and you know that can vary, but usually it's 3% on each side, so 6% total.
And then, but the seller is paying the entire 6% typically, for the buyer's realtor as well. So when you're a buyer, you know, if someone's trying to say, well, you have to pay the real estate commission, that's generally not how it works. I mean, generally, the seller is going to pay the entire 6% real estate commission, including the 3% that goes to your agent as the buyer. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I mean, do you ever see that anyone sway from that? I mean, or is that how it always works?
Yeah, you know, I see sometimes where, you know, it's all negotiable.
Yeah, that's
so
what
if
I
you're a
was saying.
seller and you
Right.
negotiate a lower commission,
A savvy negotiator would
exactly
be able to do that.
You know, especially if you've got a real estate agent that, you know, you're selling multiple houses and they'll cut you a break, then
Yeah.
So be it.
And I mean, do you think that's a good idea if you're a seller and you have a realtor, of course? Do you think it's a good idea to go in and try to negotiate that commission down, or do you think that could come back to haunt you as well because maybe they're not going to work as hard for you, or maybe they're going to, you know, maybe the buyer's agent's not going to show your house because they see on the MLS that they're not paying full 6%? What do you think?
I think it's always worth a try. You know,
what do you got to lose?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
I had a
don't
little
think- I don't
problem at closing when one
What's
of my
that?
properties.
What happened?
Well, the zip code was wrong.
That's pretty important.
It was 328-112 or 12, and on the document it was 811.
Oh.
And it's
So how did you
really
fix it?
no big deal, and we had to, you know, and it was like, well, yeah, you don't have to close today, and like I said, all the pressure, everybody's looking at me like, come on, let's do this. And it was a minor thing, so they, you know, we signed off on it, and it was no big deal apparently, and it didn't cause any problems later, and we sold the house. So
321-339-1055. Call me, text me, same phone number. All right, homestead protection. So when someone buys a house, you always hear about this. Well, creditors can't come attack your primary home, or you can lower your property taxes by filing for homestead protection. How does that work?
I think that's the homestead exemption, where
Yeah.
you get the discount on your property taxes if that's, you know, where your primary residence is. So let's just say, for instance, you bought a home last year, you're eligible for a reduction in your property taxes. You go to your property appraiser's website, let them know that that's your primary residence. You'll get a break on your taxes.
Is that $25,000? Is that what it?
I think 25, 50 grand, somewhere in that range.
Well, yeah,
there may
because
be
isn't
more.
there two you could do? One is I forget the. I know that I'm filing. I'm getting 50.
Yeah, and that, the homestead protection it saves you on your property taxes every year. So again, if your taxes were going to be $3,000 instead of $3,000, you might pay only $2,000, which saves you a couple $100 a month or whatever.
Sure.
Which is important, but it also protects you in that now this is considered your primary home, and if someone were to sue you for something, they cannot come and attach this, and they can't come take your primary home for owing a debt. And that's one of the biggest important factors of the homestead protection. Florida has.
But if you didn't file the homestead, then you wouldn't get that protection. Maybe?
Arguably, but you really need to file for the homestead protection to really get it. But there's the argument to be made that as long as you're living there, it's considered your homestead as well. But it's better, certainly better, because you're saving money, and it's very clear now that it is your homestead property because you filed for it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So there's no doubt about it that you should. And again, we've talked. I don't know if it's on this show or TV show or whatever, but the real estate taxes. I'm just a big advocate for purchasing real estate in Florida right now. I'm bullish on it. Real estate taxes in Florida. While I hear you complaining about it sometimes, they're actually quite inexpensive. I think we're like number 25 in the nation. So we're right in the middle when it comes to how much real estate taxes are here. The average house or the average real estate piece of property here, the average tax is like $1,500 or something per year. Whereas in New Jersey, the average property tax is $7,300 a year. Wow. That's just the average. I mean, it's insanity.
Is that because the real estate is more valuable?
I shouldn't say it. No, I don't think so. It's because they're backwards. They just, and there's a state income tax there as well, whereas we don't have a state income tax. That's why I'm bullish on real estate in Florida. It's not just the interest rates. The prices right now are essentially the same prices, if not a little bit lower than they were in 2006. I mean, we are at 2006 prices now 14 years later because we went way down after 2006, as you know,
right.
And we've been creeping back up since 2010? I mean, you were around for this foreclosure crisis. I mean, you were here in 2006 when it was the absolute peak of the market. And at the time, insane. I mean, it was really hard to get a mortgage then, right?
It was next to impossible.
I mean, literally, as long as you could form a sentence and a pulse and a pen, you could get a mortgage in 2006.
I had a bartender friend of mine who had terrible credit.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing in the bank. And he got a $200,000 house.
Oh, please! You could buy $1 million house.
He still has that house, though. He paid.
Really?
He got legit. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a rare thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Carl's.
I think
stubborn.
we represented something like 15,000 people going through foreclosure during that time. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But it has certainly, the market has certainly come back. But I think we're in a good place. In fact, I think the market's going to continue to go up slightly over the next couple of years. And, you hear about this recession that's coming, and I believe in that as well. I think a stock market recession, correction, whatever you want to call it, is certainly it's going to come soon, but I don't think it's going to necessarily affect the real estate market here. Certainly nothing like we had in 2008, 9, 10, 11. I mean, what do you see in the market, Hammett? What do you think is going to happen?
I agree totally. Yeah, I don't see it dropping, but I see it maybe flatting, staying flat for a little while and then, gradually going up.
When you first get a contract in, so I guess typically the seller's agent would send a contract to you as the title company. What's sort of an average time frame from everyone signing the contract to actually sitting down at that closing table?
If it's a cash transaction, usually 20, 30 days. If it's financing, usually 30 to 45 days.
Are we still seeing any flippers out there?
There are quite a lot of flippers still out there, but their numbers have kind of thinned out a little bit, I would say, over the last few months.
I still see TV commercials where the guy goes, this is the time to do it. Okay.
They're still out there.
Yeah. We'll teach you how.
So, I mean, are they making money still? I mean, are not as much? Are they harder to find? What do you think's going out there in the flipping market?
From what I hear, their margins have gotten smaller.
Really?
So, yeah, they're making less profit, but they're still flipping it.
Yeah. Depends on the property, depends on the neighborhood.
I think that if you're if you're out there thinking I'm going to go make a couple $100,000 a year flipping houses, but you've never done it before, I don't know that now is the time to get into flipping because the margins are lower. The deals are harder to find right now. Construction costs are more expensive now because contractors are so busy. I think now is probably not the time to quit your job and become a house flipper.
Right.
I really don't.
Do it as a hobby.
Yeah, exactly. 321-339-1055. Hammett Penchall's here. Core Title. International buyers. It's always a weird thing for me. How does it work when you're an international buyer or international seller even? Do you have to like hold tax money back, or how does that work when someone's international?
Yeah, if you're like a foreign national, then we're required to withhold 15%, and that's called like the FERPTA withholding.
Oh, yeah?
So you have to, we have to withhold it. You'll have to file with the IRS that you sold your house, that you're a foreign national. They make sure that you've paid your taxes, and then they'll issue a certificate to us letting us know as the holding agent how much we should give to the IRS and then how much we can refund the sellers.
And this is above what a U.S. citizen would have.
U.S. citizen, we don't have any withholding requirements. This is just for the foreign nationals. So, 15%.
And that's kind of a safeguard, isn't it? Just in case
the government wants to make sure they get their piece of...
or make sure it's legitimate, too, because they could be from, I don't know.
How long do you normally have to hold that dough?
After the sale, we usually want them to file with the IRS right away. So after 20 days, we start wondering, hey, have you filed? What's going on? And then usually we'll just end up sending the whole thing to the IRS if we haven't heard anything by then.
Let's say that I'm selling a rental property of mine and I made a $100,000 profit. I mean, that's a pretty good... You must see some really big smiles when people walk out of your office at times because you're the one that's delivering this big fat check to them. So you see a lot of happy people when they walk out of there. So, all right, let's just say it's, an investor guy, whatever. He walks out of there, $100,000 check. He's like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to tell Uncle Sam about this one. I'm just going to pretend like it never happened. You think that's a good idea?
No, I never suggest anybody try to cheat on their taxes. First of all, as a closing company, we report every sale to the IRS.
That's what I was getting at. So, I mean, the IRS is going to know about the sale because, I mean, I think, you don't have to give them a 1099 or something right at the closing table? Or how does that work?
We will hand them a 1099, and then we electronically file with the IRS the 1099s every year as well.
So, look, if you're flipping houses, you're trying to make a profit, and you think Uncle Sam's not going to know about it, you got another thing coming. I mean, the title agent is immediately notifying the IRS, and they might not catch up with you for a year or two, but after that, you're going to be back in my office fighting with the IRS because they're going to come after you saying, sir, you made $100,000 that you didn't tell us about. Right. And you can get a little bit of hot water with the IRS with that sort of...
Do you have to go through a title agent? You have to, right?
Either that or an attorney.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So an attorney could sell your house for you? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, so in a lot of states, you have to have an attorney to do a closing. I don't know sometimes I know the numbers. In Florida, you absolutely do not have to have an attorney. You just go to a title company. Right. In Massachusetts, you have to be a lawyer. In New York, I can't remember. But here you don't, the vast majority of closings that happen in Florida are not at a law firm. They are at a title company. I mean, I think the vast majority. And why that is, I don't exactly know, but you absolutely do not need an attorney to close on real estate in the state of Florida. So when I do go to this closing, Hammett, what are all these documents? Because it is a pretty thick stack of stuff that I'm signing. What all is in here that I'm signing?
The main documents are going to be the closing statement, which is basically an accounting of what's going on. The other main legal document is going to be a warranty deed. That's the actual document where you're changing from your name to the buyer's names. The rest of the stuff are just disclosures. They want to make sure that you're fully aware of what's going on. The buyer's aware of what they're buying. And then, there's a lot of just don't sue me type of disclosure stuff in there.
Cover your ass.
Exactly. I mean, I wonder if with this whole new millennial generation that's coming up, I wonder if real estate sales are going to slow down a little bit. I don't know if they are or not, but I'm telling you, these millennials riding this lime green tricycle through downtown. They won't even buy a car because they got the motorized scooter to cruise through downtown. It seems like millennials don't want to own houses as much as Our generation did. However, here's one of the scary parts about what's really going on financially in this country right now. Hundreds of thousands, I think we know, of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. But do you know that there's, I think it's 41% of adults in the United States do not have enough savings to pay for a $1,000 emergency room trip or car repair or new tires. And another 37% said they would need to borrow money to cover the cost of even a $1,000 car repair. I mean, that's kind of scary. I mean, that's a pretty big number.
Living on the edge.
Just constantly living on the edge. 16% of the adults who responded to this survey said that they'd have to finance it with a credit card. And this is like a $1,000 emergency room trip. I mean, we're not talking about 10 grand or anything. So 16% said they'd finance it with a credit card. 14% said they'd have to borrow it from friends or family. So, I mean, it's it seems like we're just not saving as much as a country right now, but this trend is getting actually worse and worse with millennials. 36% of millennials said they could pay for an unplanned expense. So that leaves 64% of people who said they just simply could not pay for any unplanned emergency type thing. So it's a little scary.
Are millennials buying houses?
Not like the boomers.
Yeah.
They don't have the money.
I think millennials now are more into the tiny house movement.
Yeah.
From what I see on YouTube and TV and stuff like that. Maybe they're just cheaper or broker because you only need like 30 grand and you could buy the materials at Home Depot.
And build it yourself?
The videos I watch on YouTube, they're like people they're like young couples in their 20s, early 30s.
I think more you're seeing millennials as a whole don't want to live the suburb life. They're not buying houses because they're not moving the neighborhoods. They want to be able to move into what you're seeing a lot of these building constructions of a ton of apartments, and then there's restaurants there, and there's a little park there, and
mixed use.
Yeah, the mixed use thing. They want to be around more people, and not so much the living in the white picket fence house in a suburb type of thing.
Yeah, in New York, especially in the hoods, like in Harlem and Brooklyn, there's a lot of people from out of state moving in, and they rather people that come from Nebraska, nice house, nice family, good money, but they rather live in an apartment in Harlem just so they could be, like he said, so they could be close to the amenities.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything comes full circle. I remember when I was a kid, my dad would drive us around to the old house that my mom and him bought when they were first married or whatever, and he would say it was tiny. He'd say, I would go to the bathroom over there, and your mom could smell it in the bedroom, whatever. And then it seems like I was like, disgusting. I don't want to know about this tiny ass house. And then now we've come full circle where these millennials want the tiny ass little house, right?
Well, they got better plumbing.
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
We used to live in the projects, and it was just a long hallway with rooms, and my dad used to poop with the door wide open, like a savage.
Oh.
Kenny.
I think that's a New York thing. My buddy from Brooklyn, I was at his house the other day. It was like, it was him, his wife, his daughter, who was like 19, and his son, and me. And then so he's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And it's a downstairs bathroom. I'm just hanging out in this kitchen. And next thing I know, I hear him yelling. It sounded like he was right next door to me because he was just right there, really right next to the kitchen. Like the downstairs half bath or whatever.
Yeah.
Door wide open.
Yeah.
I didn't know people did that.
No secrets.
Please, man. I like deadbolt my door.
And then I had a friend growing up in New York that used to strip completely butt naked when he took a poop.
Oh, that's crazy.
That was the weirdest thing.
That is, New Yorkers, I don't know about you guys.
How do we go from title to this, by the way? I mean, how in the world? I don't know what kind of zookeeper I am, but not a very good one.
The point is you want to buy a nice home, a nice big home with your own section of the house.
321-339-1055. If you're a real estate agent, you're a mortgage banker, you know that you need a title company that you can trust, a title company that is responsive to you, one that treats you like they really appreciate your business, not one that's just like, act like you're annoying them. Yeah. Core Title, let me tell you something. They do the most fantastic job. They're going to treat you like family. They're going to respond. They're going to get things done immediately. Hammett Penchall, how do I reach out? How do I find you?
Yeah, you can reach me directly at my office, which is 407 589-3356.
Good job. And again, I don't know how we went from title to bathroom duties, but was that my fault?
Sorry, that was my fault.
That's
I got into millennials with tiny houses. And
blame it on Kenny.
We'll be right back here to wrap up a Wednesday night edition of You Have Power Radio. Stick around. It's Justin Clark on the Florida Man Radio Network.
You're listening to You Have Power Radio with attorney Justin Clark.
Previously on the Bubba Love Sponge Show.
How does a girl bring up that she likes to be rockied?
So I think you're with her, and then you're doing some stuff, and she's like, okay, that's great, but you know what? Why don't you go ahead for the Rocky?
I couldn't do that.
Hold on, we have someone here in the building.
Yeah?
Who
That's into Rockying?
is a fan of Rockying.
I can only imagine. Send Bye Boy in.
Bubba the Love Sponge, morning 6 till 10 on Florida Man Radio.
The stuffed Cheez-It pizza is now at Pizza Hut. 4 pizza pockets stuffed with your choice of cheese, pepperoni, and baked with a toasty, sharp cheddar Cheez-It flavor. Served with marinara dipping sauce. Pizza Hut and Cheez-Its? Yes, please. For a limited time, only at Pizza Hut.
Wekiva Island is Central Florida's favorite watering hole. Rent a canoe and adventure the Wekiva River 7 days a week, only $25 on Mondays. Look into their weekly events like Fire Pit Fridays, live music, and great drink specials. WekivaIsland.com for more info. 1014 Miami Springs Drive, Longwood.
Florida. Welcome to More Than Enough Reason with Geico. You're at an amusement park on the first hill of the biggest roller coaster in the state.
Oh boy.
Your fear of heights was more than enough reason to never get on in the first place.
Acrophobia, schmacrophobia. That's what I say.
You've also got more than enough reason to switch to Geico, because not only could Geico save you hundreds, but they're also the largest insurer in the state. Now that's a track record you can trust.
Wow, I can see my house from
And since Geico is available 24/7, it's no wonder customers have the faith to give them a 97% customer satisfaction rating, which is more faith than you have going into that second loop.
Eyes on the horizon! Eyes on the horizon!
So, Florida, as you notice you've been tensing muscles you never knew you even had, you can at least relax knowing Geico has your back with local agents right there in your area. Now, if you could only get off this ride.
Okay, think I might have pulled something.
Geico. More reasons than ever to switch today over the phone at your local office or at geico.com.
New year, new Honda. At Classic Honda and Holler Honda in Orlando, every vehicle is clearly marked with our lowest best price up front. And for a limited time through January 31st only, lease a brand new 2019 Honda Civic LX sedan with automatic transmission and Honda sensing for only $127 per month. Or lease a brand new 2019 Honda CR-V LX two-wheel drive with automatic transmission for only $194 per month. Lease either vehicle for 36 months, 12,000 miles per year, $19.99 down, tax, tag, title, and $7.99 dealer fee to its signing. With approved credit, see dealer for details. So hurry on over to Classic Honda at 4000 West Colonial Drive, minutes away from I-4 next to Mercy Drive. And Holler Honda on State Road 436 between Colonial and University Boulevard. Visit us at ClassicHonda.com or HollerHonda.com today. We price our cars, not our customers.
Holler Classic. So come on, come on, come on. Buy smart, be happy.
Oh no, the garage door is stuck again.
Ugh, not again. We can't be late today.
I know, we don't have time for this. I'm calling Florida Door Solutions today.
Having a faulty garage door can be time-consuming and a security risk, so don't wait another day to call Florida Door Solutions. They install a variety of garage doors, openers, and other accessories. Looking for a repair? Florida Door Solutions repairs all makes and models and offers emergency service. Call us today at 407-884-5955 or visit fladoor.com.
Media is seeing big changes in the market, but at JVC, we continue to grow. If you or someone you know is a great people person, motivated to engage with the community, then we want to talk to you. Opportunities and promotions, programming, and sales to start right away. Email your resume today to jobs@jvcbroadcasting.com or mark your calendar for our upcoming JVC Open House Job Fair, Wednesday, February 19th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. We are live and local, providing exceptional results for our clients and listeners. Email us today, jobs@jvcbroadcasting.com.
Florida Man is on the loose and everywhere.
Anywhere I want. Anywhere I need.
There's so many ways to get your fix of Florida Man Radio. Don't miss a minute of Bubba the Love Sponge.
You think we would all be building our arms up if the only way to defend yourself was to have, a real nice pea shooter of an arm?
That's why they started making catapults and slingshots.
Yeah, so that dorks like me and Seth could have a chance.
Dangerous conversation. Ed Till, The Shannon Burke Show.
I ain't letting no Chinaman mash on me. I bring in my assistant to to walk on backward down. Okay, first put the bean in the ear. And tomorrow you'll have big erection.
And you have Power Radio with Justin Clark. Listen live now on 660 AM, 105.5 FM, online at floridamanradio.com. Or take us with you anywhere, anytime with the Florida Man Radio app. Just search Florida Man Radio in your Google Play or App Store. Unfiltered, unafraid, Florida Man Radio. Now, back to You Have Power Radio with attorney Justin Clark.
Kenny, did you learn anything today, buddy? Are you ready to buy a house or what?
Bank account's not ready, but I am.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you going to stay? What do you think? You think you're a New York guy, been here 3 years.
Yep.
Are you going to stay in Florida? What's your plan? What's your master plan?
Woo! I don't have a plan right now. So far, Florida's been treating me good, though.
Speaking of treating you good, what dating app has been treating you the best lately? Because, look, again, I met Pilar almost a decade ago. I missed the whole dating app deal. What is like where do you go now? What's the one-stop shop?
So the cliche one is Tinder, but I wasn't getting a high match rate on Tinder. So
now, do you think this is something that is a problem with you?
Yeah, I think
could
it's
be.
a character.
Or is it a Tinder issue?
I do have a track record, but Tinder's crazy too. That's where I met the chick with the 3 kids that ghosted me.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, one of the promo girls here put me onto this app called Hinge, man.
Hinge,
and it's been
never heard of it.
Hinge, man. Like my match rate has been pretty high. A lot of dating going on.
What's the difference between all of this stuff?
One you swipe left, one I don't know.
So Tinder's very basic. It's just based on pictures. But Hinge, you kind of have like a profile, so people can actually read about you too.
Let's be honest. EC, have you ever heard of Hinge?
I have not.
Hammett, have you ever heard of Hinge? How long have you been married now?
10 years.
So you missed this whole deal too. It just seems so easy now. All these kids now are like, oh, I met this girl on Tinder. Doesn't it seem so easy now? I mean, used to we have to go to bars, buy shots, all of this sort of thing. Now it just seems so. Is it as easy as you guys make it seem?
It is easy, but it's kind of bad because it's making people desensitized to marriage and love and fighting for the one that you like.
It's not
and
real.
earning it. Now it's quick, fast. So we're going into like this Sodom and Gomorrah kind of times where everyone's just kind of screwing around. It's like on to the next, on to the next, on to the next.
Sounds like a plan.
So I don't know if it's good or bad for society. I don't know. But the millennials are definitely entering this new world of like just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Quick and easy.
Yeah.
Wait, so is it expected when you meet on an app like this that we're going to get physical that night, or are we meeting for a drink?
No, there's some girls on their profile, they'll write, like, I'm not here for hookups.
Oh.
You know?
For a relationship.
And
so Kenny hangs up right away.
Also, I use this app called Bumble. The thing with Bumble is that if you match, the girl has to write you first. She has to make the first move.
Got it.
So that kind of helps too. But, I mean, I don't know, man.
I'm praying for you.
Thanks, man.
Hammett Panchal, excellent job today, buddy. Core Title Services. If you're a realtor, you're a mortgage person, please call him. Hammett, what's the phone number one more time?
407-589-3356.
If you missed anything tonight, you can always watch the show at You Have Power Radio on Facebook and YouTube. EC, how do I find you?
At the Eric Stacy, Steacy.
The Kenny?
Find me at the lake smoking it down.
That's very normal. That's why he missed the TV show today.
Instagram.
Mick DFMR for me.
Excellent job. Tune back in tomorrow morning from 6 to 10 for Bubba the Love Sponge. Scott Ledger joins you from 10 until noon. That is when Crazy until funny Crazy until comes from noon to 2. I follow my man and the star of the show, Shannon Burke. He's here from 2 until 6. Mick Dolan. I don't know much, but I do know one little teeny tiny thing.
And what would that be?
I will see you right back here again tomorrow night, 6 p.m.